All right, so let's get right into it. Just when you think you've got a handle on how this war's playing out, something big shifts. And according to what we're seeing, a major change is on the horizon. For 2026, Ukraine is apparently rolling out this massive new two-pronged strategy that's designed to completely change the game.
So the big question is, what is this plan, right? How exactly is Ukraine planning to reshape the whole conflict come 2026? And let's be clear, this isn't about some minor battlefield tweaks. No, we're talking about a complete strategic overhaul here. And the answer they're floating, it's something they call a 1-2 combo. It's basically a double strategy, right? Two separate parts, but they're designed to work together. And the main idea? It's actually pretty straightforward. Hit Russia where it hurts to weaken their war machine, and at the very same time, build up Ukraine's own strength and ability to keep fighting. Okay, so let's break down that first punch in the combo, striking the source. And this is all about going after the very thing that funds Russia's war. Its money and its power.
And honestly, this quote from President Zelensky just lays it all out, plain and simple. He's basically saying, look, Russia sells oil, that money buys weapons, and those weapons kill Ukrainians. So the logic is crystal clear. If the oil money is funding the war, then the oil facilities themselves, they become a legitimate part of that war effort.
And when you look at the numbers, you really start to get it. I mean, this is the financial reality we're talking about. Oil and gas revenue makes up a huge chunk of Russia's federal budget. We're talking anywhere from 30 to 50%, depending on the year. So if you can choke off that flow of cash, well, you're hitting them right in the wallet, directly impacting their ability to keep this war going. Okay, but this brings up a really important question, right? What about international law? And Ukraine has to tread very, very carefully here. The distinction they're making, at least according to our sources, isn't about what a target looks like. It's about what it does. Does it make an effective contribution to Russia's military? That's the key phrase. And that's how they draw a line between their strikes and say Russia's attacks on things that are purely civilian.
And here's a perfect example of how that works in the real world. Let's look at the Belgorod region. So Russia stations its conscripts there. And conscripts, well, they're legitimate military targets. Now, what do those soldiers need to function? Power. Electricity. So following this logic, the power plants and lines that are feeding those military units, they also become a legitimate target. Why? Because taking them out gives you a clear military advantage. And believe me, this strategy is already hitting Russia's wallet, and hard. Get this, Ukraine's strikes on the energy sector in 2025 reportedly cost Russia an estimated $12.9 billion. That's a mind-boggling amount of money just gone, sucked right out of their war economy.
And it's not just about the money either. These effects are being felt right there on the front lines. There are reports of Russian soldiers having such bad fuel shortages that they were actually having to go buy gasoline at regular civilian gas stations. I mean, just think about that. It just goes to show you how these strikes can totally cripple their logistics.
But wait a second. To pull off these kinds of attacks, you need a ton of stuff, right? We're talking drones, missiles, all sorts of advanced tech. So where does Ukraine get it all? And that, right there, brings us to the second punch in this 1-2 combo, building partnerships.
So here's the plan. To make all this happen, Ukraine is looking to set up 10 brand new military industrial export centers all over Europe in 2026. And this is way more than just setting up a few factories. It's a huge strategic move.
And the goals here are layered. First, yeah, it's about making money to fund the war, of course. But it's also about building stronger relationships with European partners. It's about spreading out their production so it's not all in one basket that Russia can target. And maybe most importantly, it's about weaving Ukraine right into the fabric of Europe's defense system.
So why are they doing this? Well, the main reason, as President Zelensky put it, comes down to simple economics. Ukraine has gotten really good at making drones. So good, in fact, that they can now build more than they can afford to use themselves. So what do you do with the extras? You sell them. And that solves a pretty big problem. And there's a really smart defensive angle to this too. It builds resilience. By spreading out their arms manufacturing to other countries, Ukraine makes sure that even if Russia blows up a key factory inside Ukraine, the assembly lines keep running. Production just shifts to a partner country safe from attack. It's a super clever way to protect their supply chain.
Okay, so let's put it all together. You've got part 1, hitting Russia's money supply. And you've got part 2, building up Ukraine's own industry and its alliances. Now let's see how these two things are designed to feed off each other to create this massive combined effect.
What you get is this powerful self-reinforcing cycle. It looks like this. Ukraine sells its cool new weapons and tech. That brings in cash and makes its European partnerships even stronger. Then, they use that money and support to hit Russia's energy industry even harder. And what does that do? It weakens Russia's war machine even more. See? Each step just makes the next one stronger.
And the long-term goal here, the end game, it's incredibly ambitious. It seems the ultimate plan is to make Ukraine absolutely essential to European security. By being the ones providing cutting-edge tech like these drones, Ukraine changes its role. It's no longer just a country needing help. It becomes a vital partner, a key player in defending the whole continent.
And it looks like Europe is already on board with this idea. I mean, the EU just approved a loan package with a massive $107 billion. That's not just a donation, that's a powerful signal. It shows they're not just invested in Ukraine's survival, they're invested in its future success as a core part of their own security.
So, that leaves us with one last really big question. This whole 1-2 combo strategy, it's clearly more than just a plan to win the war. It's a blueprint for what Ukraine wants to become. So the question is, will it actually work? Can this plan make Ukraine a permanent, essential piece of Europe's defense puzzle for years and years to come? I guess we'll have to wait and see.